How's it going, everybody? Justin here with the Pit Lane. I have my most recent autocross video from this past weekend. We competed in the 2015 SCCA National Championship Tour out at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Check out the video and see how we did with the Project 325 BMW. Here we go, pulling up to the line for what would be my second run of the day, actually. And course map popping up on the screen. You can see we start for day one in the lower left corner of the screen there. Make a little turnaround into a long slalom section. A couple turnarounds in the middle of the infield of the course with some transitions and slalom sections up through the back side of the course. And another couple turnarounds back before we hit the finish. So really fun course for the first day of the event. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to remember, a lot of features to remember. So it made it kind of tricky in that regard. And getting underway into that first turnaround into the pretty fast slalom slash wallom section. And what I'm showing you here right now again is my second run of the day. This was not one of my best ones. You can see I went really wide into that turn right there and had to come back. So this was one of my slower runs, not my fastest for the day. Again, at these championship tours, we get 3 runs each day, 3 runs on day 1, 3 runs on day 2, and you take your best time from each day and then add them up, and that's your kind of final score. And again, you can see I went a little too deep, a little too fast into that one. And we'll see on my faster run of the day, which is coming up next, you can kind of tell where I corrected and did those a little bit better. So coming into a big right-handed kind of turnaround sweeper, pretty fast on the exit on the gas throughout. Here into another really tight left-hand, almost hairpin turn, super slow. Kind of tricky to get the right line. I'm not even sure if I did it right. And then again, cruising through the finish line. So I ended up with a 69.658 on this particular run. Again, this wasn't my quick run of the day, one of my slower of the 3. Third run of the day coming up here. This was actually my quick run of the afternoon for day 1. And we'll get going here through the Wallem section at the start. You'll see as we come up to this first turnaround after this last Wallem how I navigated this section a little bit better, came in there a little bit slower. I was able to kind of make that one big continuous arc through there and worked out a lot better. Again, through the middle of the course, went a little bit deeper than I wanted to on that left-hander there. But at any rate, I still ended up with a quicker time, or the quickest time for the day, and navigated this section a little bit better as well. Had the car pointed more in the right direction, and was able to carry some good speed through the backside of the course here. Once again into that fun right-handed sweeper, pretty fast coming up the hill here on the gas, into the not so fun 180-degree left-hand hairpin turn, and into the 90-degree finish line turn. I actually washed out a little bit on this one, had to slow up more than I would have liked, but at any rate, my third run of the day turned out to be my quickest of the afternoon. As you can see, I was pretty happy about that. I really wanted to make the third run count, and I got it done. So ended up with a 68.786 on that run, almost a full second quicker than my previous run, which we just looked at. And competition-wise, out of the 7 drivers in STX, this put me in 3rd place for day 1. I was still about 1.3 seconds behind the 2nd place driver in a Scion FRS, but I did have a half a second gap to the 4th place person in another FRS, so did all right for the first day, and getting ready for the second day of action. Getting into day 2 action, we'll pop the course map up on the screen, almost the exact same course, just run backwards. As you can see, the top section is a little bit different, a lot faster up on top, not quite as many turns and transitional sections, but the start was really weird on this course. As you can see, we have a long stretch into the lights right there. I'm in 2nd gear, now going uphill and into that not so fun 180 degree turnaround before now heading down the hill into what is now a left-handed long sweeper. And what I'm showing you here is actually my worst run of the day. As you can see, my lines are way off of the cones, and wasn't placing the car very well. This was actually my second run of the day. My fast run turned out to be my very first run of the day, oddly enough. But going through that Wallem section, the car was really out of control. It was sliding and banging around inside the car. It's kind of hard to tell from the videos, but I'm slapping back and forth in the seat, trying to keep it under control. Now, my biggest mistake is coming up here after these left-right transitions. I got way too hot coming into this turn. Here you can see I nearly clobbered that cone, and coming back in I nearly clobbered that one. Had to overcorrect, bring the car back, and lost a whole bunch of time right there. So this run turned out to be a 64.205. Not a good run at all. This was my worst run of that day too. And the next run coming up here is actually my first run of the day, which, like I said, turned out to be my fastest run of the day. And during this run, I had used a little bit different strategy on the start. As you can see, I'm still in first gear, and I stayed in first gear until I made this left-handed turn, so I had the first gear power going up the hill before making the shift there. My other two runs, I ended up shifting into second before I made that left-handed turn at the start, so I'm not sure if that strategy of using first gear coming out of the start actually made the difference in my better time. Probably was a little bit of that, and also that I drove better. As you can see, I've got better lines going through that section closer to the cones, and a lot more smooth and fast on this back section here. The car was more stable, and I was putting it in the right spots versus the previous run that we showed on the video there. Coming into the other left-handed turnaround on the far side of the course, go back through this tricky offset middle section before hitting that right-handed turn. You'll see I was much better through this section, tighter on the inside cones on the right, and was able to make that a little bit better of an arc before bringing it around into the finish line here with a time of 62.962. Overall, I ended up with a time of 131.748. Good enough for third place, the last trophy spot in STX. I was 2.3 seconds behind the second placed FRS and 1 second ahead of the fourth place Scion FRS. So felt pretty good about that. It was a good weekend, a whole lot of fun, and hope you all enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more coming up. And that does it for the 2015 Championship Tour at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Thanks y'all for watching, and talk to you soon.